Hey, this is Carlton Cullins here with the Blue Sky Strongbox Trainer in South Austin, Texas. Today I want to talk briefly about the health and longevity of your spine, your back. I was just fixing to do my own workout. I was reminded that I wanted to talk about this, so it's going to be short and sweet, but I didn't want to not do the video. It's important. This stuff's not talked about enough. So anyway, here we go. Most of you out there are aware that a lifetime of sitting is probably not good for you. I mean, think about it. You may be one of the people, you may have to sit all day long at work. We often, when we sit on our way to work, we sit on our way home from work. We sit when we get home. A lifetime of sitting is not good. So most of us, most of you out there are probably aware that we need to do some exercise and stretching on a regular basis to counteract all the sitting and inactivity that we do in our lives. And all that is good. The problem comes in that if you don't choose the right exercises, the right stretches even, you could potentially be doing more harm to your spine than not. And I don't know if you've heard this, but it's often been said that you're only as healthy and as young as your spine. And I believe this wholeheartedly. We've got to take care of our back. A lot of that comes into choosing the right exercises and purposely not doing certain things. I started working out when I was 12. I'm 41 now. I've made a lot of mistakes. But it's definitely common for young males when they're in their teens and 20s to think that they're going to live forever, they're invincible, they're going to be strong and healthy, and their backs are going to last forever. And it's not true. You could easily be damaged in 5 or 10 years and do permanent damage for the rest of your life. I imagine that, being 30 years old and already having the back of a 90-year-old. It happens more often than you would like to believe. So what I want to do is show you some common things, that just some common fixes, because you want to be aware that all the exercise you do is adding more and more load to your spine, and you've got to minimize that, particularly as you get older. Minimize that. If you're going to work out for decades, you need to be smart about it. I'm going to show you some examples real quick. First and foremost, though, if you are a person who does crunches, sit-up crunches where you're bending your spine a lot, stop doing that. Stop bending your spine. It's not good for your health. It's not good for your back. I promise you there are better exercises. Write me and I'll give you plenty of them. But what's common in the weight room particularly is using barbells. I love barbells. I started off on barbells, but they're made for loading heavy weights. So a lot of people, some girls, but particularly young males, will do a lot of exercises with barbells, putting a lot of load on here. A lot of people don't have perfect form, but a lot of deadlifting, as you can imagine, puts a lot of stress on your back. A lot of squatting with a weight on your back, a barbell, puts a lot of stress on your back. A lot of people also overhead press and they arch their backs. A lot of stress on your back. A lot of people use barbells and heavy dumbbells to row. A lot of stress on your back. Those exercises alone can wreck your back over time. If you do all those exercises in a week, you're probably going to do a lot of damage to your spine over the long term. The easy thing to do is to take a weight, take a dumbbell or a kettlebell that's half that weight, put it in one arm, and you can work out one side of your body, one arm. You can put the weight over here and do squats, and you're bearing half the load. You want to just always be aware of how much loading you're doing to your spine. Spare the spine as much as possible. Also, if you're doing a heavy leg press at the gym and you put tons of weight on there, yeah, it's cool, it's great, but be careful. A lot of people wreck their backs. The only time I've ever seen somebody called EMS on at the gym was when they got on the heavy leg press and they blew their back out. Be careful. So there's nothing wrong with using a barbell. There's nothing wrong with using really heavy weights as long as your form is perfect. But just be aware that long term, there may be other better options. You're not going to live forever and you're not going to be young forever. Take care of your spine.